In this episode, Lecia tells Manager Miranda that she has decided to team up with Faye. For Manager Miranda, this is a good thing, but she reiterates that they should aim to zero the game of the gods. So Lecia goes there, but Manager Miranda says she can't, and Lecia asks why. Manager Miranda asks if Faye has explained anything to Lecia. Faye said she was tired of explaining 2 people don't reach the minimum number of participants. Lecia asks how many people there should be. Faye replies that the point is that she knows the number better than he does. Manager Miranda thinks what Faye is saying makes sense, but she changes the subject by asking him what he thought of the outfit. Faye recognizes it as pajamas. Manager Miranda thought she could sleep after working all night. Lack of sleep is the enemy of all women's skin. Faye says she's sorry the others who made the same mistake as before have been cleaning up the courtyard for about a month. And if you don't subscribe to the channel, Manager Miranda will tell you to clean the yard for a month too. So stay tuned, subscribe to the channel. The sin of waking a girl is heavy. However, even though Miranda was angry that they had woken her up, Lecia asked how many members were needed to form the team, and seeing that the deal was going to go badly, she apologized and left. Manager Miranda, sipping a cup of coffee, tells Lecia that the Arcane Court recommends that a group have 10 people or more. Lecia asks why this is, and Miranda says that if you look at the statistics for the last 30 years, the victory rate for groups of less than 9 people is less than 4%. For those with more than 10 people, it's 9%. If it's 20 people, it's 11%. The best way to play with the gods is to make them say things with numbers. There is only one god. It doesn't matter how many people are on the human side. For Lecia, if she was going to put in people who didn't like to play, it would be better if she and Faye were the only ones. For Miranda, if it's just about bringing people together, Faye and Lecia could form an alliance with teams that have few people. Miranda asks Faye to help Lecia find good apostles, but Faye says that's their job. Miranda says that they should look for friends who suit them. After all, the person in charge was an amateur. Manager Miranda is sleepy and says she's going to bed. Lecia and Faye are sitting at a table while Lecia drinks water and asks if Faye hasn't made the call for members digitally. Faye replies that yes, he would contact whoever was interested. And Lecia asks why he was there. Faye says that the girl at the counter is from the consultation section. All the team applications are digital. But there are some problems that can't be solved. For example, it's better to have a personal consultation when you can't talk to a colleague. And also, some apostle looking for a team might show up, which is why Faye was watching. He also wanted to poke around while he waited. There was a team called Blaze that he knew. Faye gets in touch with Captain Ashlyn. Captain Ashlyn says that Faye has finally contacted him. He tells Faye that he was impressed by the streaming he saw the other day. He wondered what Faye was doing. He then asks if Faye is without a team. Faye said he wanted to come in, but just then Ashlyn interrupted him, saying he was welcome. So they were going to make the arrangements that very day, and Faye told them that he was with the ex-goddess called Lecia. Ashlyn hangs up. Faye asks why he hung up. Ashlyn asks if it couldn't just be Faye. Faye asks Ashlyn if anything has happened. Ashlyn says there was a bloody incident with the goddess. Faye didn't know anything about it. Ashlyn says that she was a goddess, so she didn't keep quiet when the gods' games were insulted. A certain team that lost to the gods was frustrated. The team got drunk and left shouting that these games were pure nonsense. And by coincidence, the dragon goddess was passing by, and the dragon god passed by. Faye asks what happened. The 12 apostles ended up in hospital. While listening to the conversation, Lecia says it's not her fault. And Faye calls her a liar and asks her why she was talking like that. Lecia says she just tapped the team members on the shoulder. Faye tells her to be honest. Lecia says she didn't mean it. Lecia didn't control her strength well. Ashlyn says that Lecia had the appearance of a beautiful girl, and he even felt bad about it and apologizes. Lecia breaks her glass and smiles at Faye, who doesn't know what to say. We see Faye fiddling with her gadget and asking Licia if she could be a captain. Licia wonders if this captain's skill is greater than hers. Faye isn't sure how to answer. Faye will contact a team with an excellent game analyst. Licia doesn't really understand what an analyst is. Faye explains that she is a person who analyzes the content of the game. Teams that challenge the games of the gods have analysts to study the games, and coaches who train players has become a standard. Then he gets in touch with Captain Yuuki and asks her if her team needs any players. She thinks it's great that Faye is interested in the Black Rose and warns her that there are many people who want to join her team but can't. Faye asks if there's room for him, and she tells him that she'll sort it out right away because he's welcome. Then Faye asked if there was any way of adding another person. Faye tells Yuuki that she is the former goddess called Licia. Yuuki despairs and hangs up. Faye tells Licia that Yuuki shouted and asks if he caused any more trouble. Licia tells him that it was a misunderstanding, she hadn't done anything. Faye says that Licia changes the way she speaks when she becomes vulnerable. Licia says she's never vulnerable, not even a little bit, because she wasn't like that. Faye says she's lying because she was talking very suspiciously. Licia finally explains that she has been idle for the last 6 months, so she practiced battle games with humans in the underground Colosseum. The first one who fought her was called Yuuki, and at that time Licia didn't know how to control herself. Yuuki was traumatized, but Licia went to visit her afterwards, and she ended up screaming and fainting. Faye feels it will be difficult to talk to form teams. Licia apologizes, saying she wanted to learn more about humans. Licia just wanted to play with the humans, so she desperately read human knowledge in order to understand them. As far as Faye was concerned, even if they didn't get a team, it was no problem. They just had to get some mates to join them, not just to have numbers, but to get along as well. It would also be good to have members with unique abilities to help in the games, such as teleportation, and just as he was thinking about it, a girl teleports up to them. Faye doesn't know that girl and decides to go and talk to her, because maybe she was looking for a team to join, but she actually wanted to retire and Licia won't let her by burning the document asking her to leave the team. Faye and Licia didn't know the girl, but she already knew who they were. Faye tells the girl that he wanted to prevent her from retiring because they were looking for members to form a team, and she says she can't. But Faye asks her to go and have a parfait and listen to the story while she eats, and the girl accepts. The girl introduces herself to both of them. Her name is Pearl Diamond, and she is 16. She had won once and lost once in the games of the gods. She found the parfait delicious. Faye cut through the small talk and asked if she had used the teleporter. Pearl says it's the Wanderer, the name she gave her Arise, because she thought teleportation was boring. He finds it very strange that a powerful skill is with a person who has only won once and will retire because of a defeat. While Faye was distracted thinking about what had happened to her, she had eaten 35 portions. He says that he saw the data of her defeat and asks if that was the reason for her retirement. She lost because of a mistake she made. The game was to protect the leader. She thought she'd be crushed and switched places with her leader because her power is actually to move things around and not teleport properly. You need something to switch positions. She was frustrated by this. She couldn't meet expectations. She needs to have touched what she changes for at least 3 minutes. Thanks to her mistake, many colleagues who had lost 3 times ended up retiring, and she says she only won once because of her team. Licia tells Pearl that it's okay to make mistakes, and if they lose, no one would blame her, and asks if she wouldn't like to try first. Pearl apologizes because she has already decided to retire, and then she opens the portal and leaves. Faye sees this and remembers his red-haired brother telling him that games are for fun. The gods smile on those who work their own miracle. Faye then told Licia that they were going to do some research to find out where Pearl's dorm room was, because he thought it was a waste for things to end up like this. For Faye, if it all ended like that, Pearl would be afraid of games for the rest of her life. They then go to the girls' dormitory, find it strange that it isn't locked and wonder if she has retired and end up breaking into the room and finding her. Pearl explains that since she usually uses portals, she didn't close them properly. That must be half a year ago. Faye says she's sorry for going in like that. Pearl says it's her fault. Pearl had debuted last year with Faye, and she admired him for being good straight away. That's why she didn't think she was a good fit for his team. Faye disagrees, but Pearl thinks it would only be a burden for Faye. Faye sees some bags and asks what they are. Pearl replies that they are snacks because she was going to stop being an apostle. She went to apologize to her teammates, but none of them accepted. The captain was absent, but everyone said she wasn't worthy of seeing him. And Pearl thinks he's right. Even if she apologizes, the bad memories will return. Leshia says it's not like that. Neither Pearl nor they understood, win or lose. The right thing is to say it was fun and call them to play again. That was a game. It's natural for a god to win in a game with the gods. It's not fair to put all the blame on one person. Pearl was happy for her to say that, but there was nothing she could do about it. Faye thinks she can clear her name and asks if her group was Inferno. Faye wants to see them when they challenge in the game of the gods and tells her to just do well there. Pearl says she can't do it alone, and Faye says she's calling for them to go together. The three of them against her old team, they could do it. It was frustrating to end the game with a defeat, and Pearl remembers what happened. For Faye, it may have been an unforgettable defeat, but it was just one. She had the right to take revenge, the right to defy the gods. Faye asks them to go together only once and promises not to insist afterwards. Pearl says she has never been recruited in such an exciting way and is very grateful. She told Faye that she was going to take part. We then see the three of them together and Pearl saying that there's no way she's going to make it, and Faye telling her that they're just a bit wary of her. We see a group of people together. The manager Miranda approaches Faye and whispers in her ear that she broke a rule to tell him the day they would be playing, so Faye, Leshia, and Pearl had to win. Faye apologizes for asking something like that. For manager Miranda, they are special because they attract a lot of views, and then she tells Pearl that the whole world was watching that fight and she should do her best. Pearl was worried to hear that. Leshia grabs her shoulder and tells her it's just a game and asks Pearl to have fun. Pearl tells Leshia that she will try. The team is already entering the portal. Pearl says that when you jump on the statue of the giant god, you have to hold your breath. Leshia calls her to go, and Pearl asks her to wait a bit as she's not ready yet. Faye grabs her shoulder, saying that everyone makes up for their mistakes with victories and tells them to go soon without hesitation. And then Leshia, Pearl, and Faye enter the portal for another game of the gods. They are falling from the sky and Pearl asks what that was. Faye looks to the side and sees that there is something under the clouds. Faye wondered what that was all about, remembering that in the past apostles died without being able to do anything. No one had ever beaten the god of despair Ouroboros. For Faye, it was a perfect occasion, and he would challenge him in his game.